Detroit Lions fans, Detroit Den 313 back with another episode. Before we get going, you know what to do. Actually, I'm getting a little nervous, Steve, because we just gave away, and it feels like a few days ago, damn near $1,000 worth of shit. And we said at 10K, we were going to do it again and we're going to make it better. And it's going a little bit faster than anticipated. So we are what, 600, 700 away
It's
from
creeping up.
yeah, getting that 10K. So, hey, guys, we're going to stick true to our word. I don't know if we're going to be able to afford any more Lions gear for ourselves, though, afterwards. But you guys been killing it. Appreciate it. Humbled by it. Thank you so much. But to the business, Steve, the heck we talking about, man?
Real quick, not going to do a full episode. We understand there's some breaking news today with the Detroit Lions hiring former Stanford head coach David Shaw as passing game coordinator. We understand this probably means bye-bye Tanner Ingstrad. Don't know the stats, don't know the deal with that. Don't want to speculate. I would assume he's not going to take a demotion. He'll probably have something in the works. I don't know. Maybe he's going with that trader Ben Johnson, or maybe he's going with Aaron Glenn. I don't know what's going on, but David Shaw is a good hire. All right, let's keep in mind, this is a guy who helped form Andrew Luck's career as well when he was at Stanford with Jim Harbaugh. So this is a big hire. I think this will really help Jared Goff. I think this will help the offense as a whole. I think this is another great offensive mind we're bringing in where he doesn't have a lot of responsibilities like recruiting and all that shit he had to deal with in college. He can come here and just focus on offense. And I think he's going to thrive in that role. And that's all I'm going to say. We'll dive more into it probably later, or we'll speak more of it later. But Will, how do you feel about that?
Love it. Love it. Fits right in. Has a relationship with a lot of people we already have in house. Just excited about it. Like you said, we'll dig more into it. It literally happened about 15, 20 minutes before we got on, so we're not going to go crazy on it. But yeah, it's solid hire. I like it. Just worried about Tanner. I mean, I think the only option now is Tanner staying to be assistant head coach, or is he out of here? Because like you said, he's not going to take a demotion. That wouldn't make sense. So, but Steve, I don't know if you saw this or not, but on the St. Brown podcast, Amon Ra talked about how Coach Randall L notified him that he was leaving. And I thought that was very interesting because Amon Ra put two and two together where Coach L was from, the fact that we just had a coach leave for there, and just happened to put in their group chat, hey, Coach L, are you going out of town? You headed to Chicago or what? Just joking around, poking fun. Coach L calls him immediately, like, hey, man, like, what's going on? Did that get leaked? Like, how do you know that? So I think it just speaks to how quickly these guys, well, number one, how quickly that Chicago Bears head coach knew that he was gone, right? And by quickly, I mean knew already. And how quickly that team of guys that he was putting together, right, his coaching staff was put together. By quickly, I mean they already knew, which isn't the worst thing in the world. If you know that you're going to be potentially a head coach, I know you got to be poking at guys to let you know, hey, if I get this job, would you be willing to come? You know, kind of surfing around to get a feel for guys, so you're not just out. Now I got a head coaching position in the NFL and I don't have a staff. I got to try to create it from scratch. Completely understand that. But the fact that it was locked in and we're brushing elbows every day at a different team and you're already locked in with me going somewhere else, I don't know. It just makes me just, it has a little slime to it to me. I don't like it. But that said, it is what it is. What's the meat and potatoes that we're getting into
Tonight, this might be a tough topic. I got a tough question I'm going to ask you at the end, but we're going to talk to some contract extensions. We're going to talk. The Detroit Lions are in a position where once the new season officially starts, I think it's sometime in March when the new season starts, when we get really into 2025, that is when the Detroit Lions can officially start working with players like Aiden Hutchinson, Jameson Williams that are on picking up that 5th-year contract, possibly some extensions. We're going to talk about it. Kirby Joseph's another name that's out there. So I think those are the big 3 to keep an eye on once the new season officially resets and we begin the 2025 season. So, Will, the 3 names that are out there, Kirby Joseph, Jameson Williams, Aiden Hutchinson, do you think we get deals done with all 3? Do you think we're picking up some options and waiting and seeing? Do you think we're possibly in the market for a franchise tag? Something I read that the Detroit Lions haven't done since 2018 with Ziggy Ansah, I think was the last player franchise tagged. If that's correct, leave it in the comments. I'm not 100% sure about that. But what do you foresee the Detroit Lions doing with those 3 players going forward?
Steve? The moment that you can sign Aiden Hutchinson to an extension for a lifetime. you make it happen.
First man to get a 20-year deal.
Yeah, it's hey, listen, period. 20 million deal, 100 million a year. Like, hey, get it done. Hopefully, he gives us a hometown friendly discount. Don't know if he will or if he won't. I do know that he is the type of guy that wants to win, so I think that'll be something that he keeps in his mind. But he's got to get what he's valued at as well. So I was looking at some stuff earlier and just poking around some numbers that people put out there as projected contract numbers. And here's what I saw. I saw 5 years, 177 million, 35 a year. I remember doing all of those episodes, Steve, about Daniil Hunters and those guys, all of the big time defensive ends coming in and signing them in free agency. And we talked about it all the time. I don't want to pay a guy 20 million a year, 25 million a year. We're going to have to pay Aiden some money. And I don't even think that he sits down and even I don't think his agent will even have a conversation that doesn't involve laughter until you're at that $30 million mark. So I would say at least 30 mil on up, we're probably going to see. I wouldn't be surprised if it was something just absolutely absurd because he is a guy who just does everything. He's a locker room guy. He's an effort guy, right? He's a guy that you never have to worry about in the tabloids or in the media for negativity. He's going to freaking Ann Arbor Hospital and reading books to the children. Like, what are we talking about? And he's giving you maximum effort trying to will a leg that he's dragging around back so he could play in the Super Bowl. There's nothing more that you can ask for to me from an NFL football player. So you keep those guys around, you sign them, and you sign them for a long time. Steve, for 5 years, 177, 35 million a year, would you be down?
I have to. I can't say no. There's nothing else I can say besides yes. If I'm Brad Holmes, like, all right, this is the deal. Okay, maybe we can work that around where we convert a lot of that into a bonus or something like that. Like, there's some creative things that Brad Holmes can do with contracts, but he deserves this money. And you know what? I'm kind of upset that you mentioned the agent William because I had a little ace up my sleeve today. If there was anyone that was licking their lips all season long, it was the agent of Aiden Hutchinson, probably just sitting in that suite with them going, yeah, man, I'm watching this Detroit Lions defensive line struggle and the season's over now. And my client is still the number one sack leader on this team. And he hasn't played football in 12 weeks. Like, man, I don't know. And the defense kind of collapsed in the playoffs. And there was some time I'm thinking if I'm his agent, I'm going to Brad Holmes and my opening number might be 38. My opening number might be 38. And maybe if you talk me down to 35, I'm willing to do business. But hometown discount, I don't know that applies. Well, I mean, what would it look like? I mean, if a hometown discount is 29 million, $6 million difference, that's you give me and Will $6 million, we'll be podcasting from somewhere in Jamaica. I'll just say that for the rest of our lives, like with a frozen drink in front of me with a cute little umbrella, like $6 million. Sayonara. I'll see you later. I'll write to my wife every now and then to tell her that I'm doing okay. So, yeah, it's a lot of money. In the NFL, is it a lot of money? Not really. Like, look, you can't. If you got 29 million, what do you need 35 for? Is there something that's 35 million that you can't buy with 29? I mean, I get that logic too, but I don't know if I believe that a hometown discount's coming. That number's going to be through the roof. You won't hear any complaints from me, no matter what that number is. It's got to happen. We got to have a vocal point on defense. This is the Matthew Stafford of the defense modern day. All right. Like you said, all the stuff he does in the community, reading to the kids at the hospital, all the stuff he does around his hometown, the University of Michigan and the Detroit community is absolutely phenomenal. And then we could just keep this to what he does on the football field. You guys already know the deal. He's the best. He's the best pass rusher in the NFL. It's not even a competition anymore. Was probably on track to win Defensive Player of the Year. So that number is going to be somewhere around 30, probably north. It scares me, but it's got to get done well.
Yeah. I'm not going to ask you a stupid question. I am going to ask you this question when we get into the next two, but just I'm going to take Aiden off of the table. Like, is he, because I feel like there's a question lingering out there. Hey, out of the three guys, who has to be the one? And we know that's Aiden, right? Like, out of the three guys, it's Aiden. So the next two guys that we're talking about, we got J-Mo and we got Kirby Joseph. Which one you want to go into first?
Well, let's just keep. Well, shit, they were all in the same draft class, so I guess we'll just stay on the defensive side of the ball and let's talk Kirby.
Yeah, Kirby, man, like just everybody's saying it. It's not just us anymore. Number one safety in the league, right? Absolute ball hawk. Just dirty player, right? Apparently, right? If you're not a Detroit fan, quote unquote, allegedly dirty player. I don't think he's dirty. I know you don't either, but grit guy, a guy that just fits. Brad was asked in his press conference a couple of weeks ago, have the contract negotiations with Kirby Joseph started yet? And he said they haven't started yet, but he's looking forward to it. And he's a guy that just fits in Detroit. So, Steve, when we're talking about Kirby Joseph, we have, Iffy Melifonwu, who's going to be a free agent. We have Brian Branch under contract, right? Typically, you got two safeties out there. Is Kirby Joseph a must sign? Are you going to pay him? Because he's going to be I'm looking at it right here. Xavier McKinney's contract was 4 years, 68 million, 17 million a year. So let's start. It's got to be 18 million a year. It's got to be 18 million. Kirby Joseph is not going to accept getting paid less than Xavier McKinney is, right? So you're going to be looking at least 4 years at 18 mil a year. Are you signing Kirby Joseph, or are you going to try to do some okey doke stuff, throw Brian Branch and Iffy Melifonwu back there and save some money?
God, this sucks. This sucks so bad because here's the thing. I don't trust Iffy Melifonwu to stay healthy. That's a factor. That's something I have to take into consideration. What I also have to take into consideration is I just mentioned how struggling our defense was all last year. Kirby Joseph led the NFL in interceptions. He gave extra possessions to our offense and even had a pick six. How you can't just let that walk. You got to do something. You got to find a way to re-sign him. Now, here's the thing. We did all the re-signings last year and a little bit this year with Aleem McNeil. We just mentioned Aiden Hutchinson. The dollars are starting to become scarce. All right. There's not going to be a lot of money to go around. So for a lot of people who think we're going to have this extravagant offseason and sign all these big name free agents to get us over the hump, there's a saying when you're investigating a crime, follow the money. It'll tell you everything you need to know because there's not a lot to go around right now. Okay. So if we re-sign Aiden Hutchinson for 30 to 35 million and we're re-signing Kirby Joseph to 18 to 20, there's not that much money left. I mean, you still got to sign a couple free agents here and there, sparingly, some good deals. You got to have some money to bring in your draft class that you pick up in April at the NFL draft. Someone's going to be the odd man out here, William. I don't know who it's going to be. I know it's not going to be Aiden Hutchinson. I'm 100% confident in that. Is it going to be Kirby? Is it going to be J-Mo? Is it going to be Brian Branch? Is it going to be Jahmyr Gibbs in a couple years? Is it going to be David Montgomery? Are we going to have some pretty big cap casualties? There's a lot of questions to ask, but I have to find a way to keep Kirby Joseph, who leads the league in that interception, gives my offense extra possessions. Just a warm and fuzzy back there in center field. He's never out of position. He plays the game really well. I like his style. He's not a come up and try to smash anyone, because I think that's where he stays on the field, is by not putting out those big hits and getting himself hurt. So have to find a way to get the deal done. But after that Kirby Joseph deal, William, we're rubbing two nickels together here, trying to get some more people. So I don't know. How do you feel?
Kirby Joseph has to be back. To me, he has to be back. You don't replace Kirby Joseph. Kirby Joseph is an ex wide receiver. Let's start there. He's playing wide receiver back there. He believes that you're throwing the football to him in his mind, right? And that's how he's going after it. Bolster this pass rush like we're begging the Detroit Lions to do this offseason. And, from the draft, free agency, and getting guys healthy, Kirby Joseph's just going to get better. Like he led the league in interceptions without a pass rush. Imagine when quarterbacks are panicking to get the ball out when they don't want to. The game is going to get even easier for them. Got to get Kirby Joseph back. I think it's a must sign. I don't expect a team friendly deal. I expect he's standing on business. He wants to be the best safety in the league. He wants to be a Hall of Famer one day. He said he wants to wear the jacket. Listen, you got to pay him. You got to pay him flat out. Both of these guys, to me, they need to be Detroit Lions for the foreseeable future. You know what I mean? Obviously, I said Aiden lifetime, but if Aiden's lifetime, I need Kirby Joseph for the next 5 years, right? At least the next 4. Probably his contract will be 4 years. Need it. Got to have it. So I'm looking at 4 years, 18 mil a season, or whatever. Xavier McKinney's getting 17 mil. Okay, $17.1 million a season. This is where the
17 million
conversation.
chicken nugget gets the deal done.
100%. Yeah, it has to happen, Steve. It's a no-brainer for me. Bring Kirby Joseph back. Let's run it back for like 4 seasons or so. But there's things that we can do, man. Like you can drop a huge signing bonus in there. You can front load it or back load it. There's the ways that you can get the salary cap together. We talked about it before a little bit. How are the Philadelphia Eagles paying all of these players, all of this money? And I started digging into it over there a little bit, and that's a lot of it. Hey, somebody might have a four-year, $80 million deal, but one of the seasons they're getting 60 mil. You know what I mean? So there's ways that you can front load, back load, signing bonus, things that you can do to restructuring. There's things that you can do to get the money and make the money right, man. I think there's a way that we can sign both of those guys and potentially all three if the other one doesn't go crazy.
Yeah, so I guess we got to lead right into Jameson Williams because, like we just said, money's getting tight around here, William. City of Detroit's we're rubbing nickels together. Jameson Williams also in the same draft class, first rounder, so he's got the ability to get a 5th-year option picked up. What do you think the Detroit Lions will do with him?
This is the one. And before you guys come at me in the comments, I'm not saying that I want this to happen. Okay, so I love J-Mo. Okay, Steve loves J-Mo. We've wore a shield and fought for J-Mo. We've held him accountable for some things too, but we fought for J-Mo, talked J-Mo up. So take that before I say what I'm about to say. Now, if there was one player out of these 3 that I saw that did not get an extension, it would be J-Mo, right? Now, do I think that J-Mo is going to get an extension? I do think that he's going to get an extension. But, Steve, I started looking at some contracts, and these receivers, they like their money. They like their Ferraris. They like the swag. They like the chains. They like, so, hey, listen, they like their money. So, Brandon Ayuk, I think that's Brandon Ayuk. He's got Deebo Samuel on his team. Brandon Ayuk he's not Batman. He's Robin. Right? Brandon Ayuk is 4 years, 120 million. I
went to public schools. Well, that's 30 million a year on average.
Hey, that's lots of monies. It's lots of monies. But hey, hopefully we can negotiate. And this is what I talked about in the previous episode. Is J-Mo's agent going to come in and say, listen, we understand what has transpired with the Detroit Lions since he's been here. We understand the risks that you guys are going to be taking with signing him to an extension that anybody's going to be taking. So we're going to talk the numbers accordingly. Right. Another one was DJ Moore. Now, DJ Moore is a guy who's often hurt. He often just disappears for parts of seasons and has zero production. In key moments, you throw him a screen, he'll fumble the football. Like, this is DJ Moore. He's been this from the Carolina Panthers. Yeah, from the Carolina Panthers to the Chicago Bears. This has always been DJ Moore. DJ Moore, 4 years, $110 million. This is his contract. So I would be expecting, and I happened while I was doing some digging, I happened to see a potential contract for J-Mo that said 4 years, $90 million would be fair for J-Mo, taking all things into consideration. So I think that's the bare bones of it because someone is going to pay J-Mo. So you got to think about that. There are gonna be teams that want to get J-Mo in their building. So, Steve, at $100 million for four seasons, $100 million, right? We'll go right in the middle. Are you signing Jameson Williams
for about what we're talking like 22 million, somewhere around there? 20. The DJ Moore contracts, would you say it was 4 years, 110?
DJ Moore's was 4 years, 110.
So what's that come out to? Like about 24 million a year, somewhere around there, roughly.
Ish.
Yeah, math, not my strong suit, guys. Absolutely not, William. I can't give Jameson Williams $24 million. I can't do it. Here's what I can do with Jameson Williams. I can look him in the eyes and say, You haven't had a season yet where you played a full season, and it's not because of your injury your rookie year coming out of Alabama. You were suspended for gambling. You were suspended for PEDs. You had an incident with the police. Weren't suspended for it. I understand. If I'm Brad Holmes, I'm sitting there at the end of that negotiation table, I'll say, what we're going to do is we're going to pick up that 5th year option. We're going to make it a prove it year for you. Okay. You're going to play out your 4th year. We're going to pick up, you're going to play your 5th year. And then we're going to try to get a deal done because I got a lot of mouths to feed. Like the 2 quarterbacks you just mentioned for DJ Moore and Brandon Ayuk, both those quarterbacks are playing on rookie deals. So they have a little bit of extra money floating around. We don't. We just paid Jared Goff on average $50 million a year on average. I know it's not exactly 50, but that's what the average comes out to. We don't have that luxury with paying Jared Goff now. And this isn't a knock on Jared Goff, but this is the price you pay when you pay your quarterback and your offensive line and your running back, you re-sign, and your D tackle, you re-sign, and we just re-signed Aiden Hutchinson. Hopefully, we just re-signed Kirby Joseph. There's absolutely no chance I'm giving Jameson Williams north of $20 million when he hasn't played a full season due to personal things. We're not talking an injury. His injury was in his rookie year. We'll give him a slide for that. Nothing he could do about it. That happened while he was in college. We knew that was going to be the case. Play your 4th year. Play it just like you did this season. Stay out of trouble. Keep your nose clean. Get over 1,000 yards. Sniff around 10 touchdowns. Do it again in your 5th year. And then maybe we can talk. Maybe some money's cleaned up. We don't know what's going to happen. We're talking 3 years down the road. We have no idea what this Lions team is going to look like. We don't know if Jared Goff's still going to be the quarterback 3 years from now. We don't know what's going to happen at all. I can't pay him that much money right now just based on the information I have at hand with the suspensions, hasn't played a full season. There's just, if his agent came to me, and agents aren't nice people, William, they're not reasonable men and women. They're leeches latching on to athletes and making money off of them. I get it. They might be needed. They understand a lot of things that players don't. Are they always looking out for the player's best interest? Probably not. They're trying to get money. They're trying to get their, what's it called? They get a little bonus from each contract that's signed, like a 3% or something like that. If I'm an agent, I know what I'm going to ask for, but I know what I'm going to get. He's going to ask for the moon and the stars. I'll give you a hot air balloon. We'll settle there and see if we can get somewhere later. But William, I can't give him that kind of money right now. What are you thinking?
So, man, it's tough because I do feel like he's a great football player, but I agree with the prove it. Now, I'm not going to say I'm not going to pay him. I'm not going to extend him right now, though. I'm not going to extend him right now. He's going to play that 5th year. We're going to pick up the 5th year for sure, but he's going to have to prove it that year. Now, I do think that there's a risk to it because I think that he is continuously getting better. This offseason, he got way better this offseason. Consistent hands. This is a guy that people were talking about cutting because his hands were so bad. Right? Like it's crazy. Right. And by guys, I mean fans. I don't mean our team. Right. But people were talking about, man, calling him a bust and all of this stuff. Right. So now drops aren't even a thing anymore. Right. It's not even something that we talk about with him. So electric guy can take a reverse to the house. He can take a screen to the house. He can take a slant to the house, or he can just catch a go ball and take that to the crib as well. So the guy is a big time playmaker. If he goes out and proves it, the price could go up and be solidified from a guy that might accept 90 because he knows all of the things that have went on. And that's something that I would entertain. If I could get something like 90, then maybe, instead of the 110, 120, and I feel like I've seen enough to believe in him moving forward, then maybe I do it if I get it at a substantial discount like that, because we're talking $30 million potentially if you're comparing him to Brandon Ayuk, right? $20 million if you're comparing him to DJ Moore. Okay, I'll eat that. But if not, I'm with you, Steve. Make him play that 5th year. Let's see if he just goes absolutely bananas and steps into the superstar role, and then we'll have to figure some things out and make some tough decisions. Do you let some guys go that you really don't love letting go, but you got to do it? Do you get rid of some of the warm and fuzzies, like having a Kevin Zeitler and a Christian Mahogany? Because those things, that's a luxury. It's a luxury to have starting 5 linemen and then a lineman or two coming in behind those guys that are of starting caliber, right? So if we sign Kevin Zeitler this offseason to another deal, right, and then we still have Christian Mahogany, we still have Graham Glasgow, those are luxuries, right? Having 3 safeties, those are luxuries. That's not that things that just normal teams have. So we might have to start making some tough decision and getting rid of some of the luxuries and standing on the guys that we've drafted. We got another draft class coming in. It'll be young guys on rookie deals that'll be able to take some positions as well. So I'm with you, Steve. Unless we get a significant discount, I say get them out there and make them prove it, man. But if you can only sign one of the two, meaning you can only sign Kirby Joseph or you can only sign J-Mo, who you signing?
Kirby. And it sucks because I love our offense. I love what we have. We have weapons, Jahmyr Gibbs, J-Mo, St. Brown. I mean, we're going to get into some contract stuff with Sam Laporta here in the next couple of years. We're going to get some contract stuff with Jack Campbell in the next couple of years, Jahmyr Gibbs. Like, guys,
right.
Yeah, like the time's coming. This is what we all saw coming. When you nail draft classes and you hit home runs in your draft, you have a window before you have to start paying them. Those rookie contracts in the second and third rounds come up a lot quicker than those fifth-year guys or the fifth-year options like we have in the first rounds with Aiden Hutchinson and J-Mo. They sneak up on you. Kirby Joseph, it's time. Brandon, or not Brandon Ayuk, but comparing that deal to Jameson Williams, I can't give him that deal yet, but luckily we have a couple more years. Take care of Hutch. He's the heart and soul of the defense. Heart and soul of Detroit. I mean, we really saw how much we missed him this year. So that dude's going to get paid, man. And this is an awkward, uncomfortable time because we got Jahmyr Gibbs' contract coming up too. Like it's not right now, it's not next year, but we're going to have that discussion within the next probably 2 seasons of what's going to happen. And there's some idiots out there that think that you don't re-sign running backs. You re-sign running backs like Jahmyr Gibbs. Just plain and simple. Let me just put that out there. So for those of you who don't listen to 97.1 and they say all the time, don't pay running backs. You pay running backs anytime they touch the ball, it could be a home run. Okay. You think the New York Giants aren't kicking themselves in the foot right now for what they did to Saquon Barkley while they're sitting at home with the top 5 pick, and Saquon damn near broke the all-time rushing record in a single season, and he's getting to go play for a Super Bowl? You pay playmakers. Don't put a label on their position. You pay people who can make plays and can do different types of things on a football field. I'll just leave it at that. Well, you got anything else for tonight?
I do. The last thing I'll say speaking to this topic is this. Kids grow up most of the time and they want to play offense. They want to be the quarterback. They want to be the receiver, the running back, right? They want to be in those sexy positions, right? To do the cool stuff, score the touchdowns, catch the touchdowns, run the touchdowns, pass for the touchdowns, right? Be doing the touchdown celebrations and dances. That is what kids want to do. There's an abundance of playmakers that are going to be in each and every draft every season. To me, it's easier to replace offensive playmakers, right, than it is to find edge rushers, offensive linemen, defensive linemen, linebackers, corners, safeties. It's much harder to find those things. So for that reason, I think that I agree with you 100%. It's got to be Kirby Joseph. It's got to be Aiden Hutchinson. And this has to be the offseason of defense. Defense. Edge rusher. Please.
Guard.
Brad.
Maybe a guard in there somewhere.
I mean, I'll take a guard, but if we don't get one, I'll be fine. Because I'm hearing great things about Giovanni Armanu. Then we got and we still got the potential to sign Zeitler, who I heard is very interested in coming back. We still got Graham Glasgow, who can play guard or center. Right. I feel like if we didn't do it, we'd still be in a great situation next season. If we drafted 7 edge rushers and traded for 7 more, I would be happy.
It's a hell of a trade. Damn. We're going to really put a NASCAR package out there. We're going to have 11 defensive ends on the field when Williams coaches ball.
Hey, let's go. Get out.
Anything else? Spoke your piece? All right,
Yeah.
Stick around, hit that like button, and I'll just say one last thing before I hit this end recording. Thank God we don't have to pay James Houston. Stick around. We'll be back later with another show.